All right. Is this thing on? No drunk drivers. Let's get into it. NBA gambling scandal. UFC gambling scandal. Watch the company you keep. Is it political? Hmm. As far as the details, I'm not going to get off into that. You all can look that up yourself. I'm sure you probably seen the tabloids with the various perspectives in regard to these topics. I tend to approach things from a different angle. And my opinion on these things are I believe it's totally political. It has nothing really to do with the integrity of anything. Um, yes, I know that's what's being paraded around as if, these guys or people in power are there to clean up, get it straight, right? Um, but nah, it's political. It's not a coincidence that the NBA just so happens to be the sport that was, uh, I guess you can say, being investigated. Investigated. I'm not saying that the gentlemen that are being charged with anything that they are totally innocent. What I am saying is, right now we have a Republican Party that's in power, and the NBA, to my understanding, if I had to guess, would be largely Democratic. So, and they have a very uh, widespread and strong platform, and they have been very vocal throughout the years. So now this is more like a warning shot to put those people in the NBA on notice. You better watch out because we're going to dig up dirt on you, and we're coming. And that's basically what's going on. Um, because now we also have the UFC with Dana White, and he's under the hot fire. You may say, well, how can it be political, Brian, if the Republicans are in power and the UFC has now aligned themselves with the Republic affiliation? Well, there's always a yin and a yang. For every action, there's going to be an opposite and equal reaction. For every action, there's going to be an opposite and equal reaction. So, with the UFC being under fire, I'm led to believe that this is probably from the Democratic Party saying, hey, you want to mess with our guys? Now we're going to mess with your guys. And there you have it. That's what this is. This is the show of politics. Um, it does nothing as far as moving the needle on what really matters. If you really wanted to clean up something, you should probably start with the stock market, right? Because if you don't know, the stock market can directly affect the economy. Now, some of you may saying, well, the economy does not affect me. I don't have money like that. Well, you put your money into banks, right? Most, if not everybody, does that, correct? I could be wrong. What do you think the bank does with your money? I'll say it again. What do you think the bank, what do you think they do with your money? Most of us put our money into a savings account and it earns literally, you might as well say nothing. You're just a place to hold money, right? Because I guess you would say the way that currency has been transformed into basically it's almost all electronic. We still have cash, But I've noticed that the electronic currency is probably the most. That's probably the primary way of making transactions, right? Um, and so when you have your money in these banks, and you utilize money for survival, correct? And it's primarily electronic. Now it's no longer within your possession. Possession is 9/10 of the law, right? Possession is 9/10 of the law. I'm sure you probably heard that before. And what these banks do is they invest your money. You give it to them. In return, you can withdraw certain amount of money, not all of your money. I know. Try it. If you think I'm lying, you think I'm joking, you think I'm exaggerating, try to take your money out and see what they say. See if you're going to run into certain types of hurdles, et cetera, et cetera. Also, I don't know if you're all aware that banks only insure up to a certain amount of your money. So after you reach a certain amount, then they're protected by laws, and they're not responsible for it. So if they go belly up, then that's it. You just lost your money. So to the common man or woman, they invest, you put your money into the banks, and the banks invest that money into the stock market. And as the stock market go up and down, now I know you don't. I'm not saying that as the stock market goes up and down, your savings account go up and down. I'm not saying that. But if the stock market crashes and the economy crashes, so will your banks. And if your banks crashes, then there goes your money. You can try to withdraw if you want to. Then they're going to hand you a big stack of paper telling you about what laws they have to protect you. That's how important the stock market is. I'm not saying I agree with the stock market. I'm not even saying I agree with its purpose within the economy. I'm just telling you how things are ran, right? Um, the stock market is very critical. It's your 401k, your pension, all of these things that the common man or woman has is affected by the stock market. Now, one would think, I know you probably like, what are you talking about, Brian? We talking about a gambling scandal with the NBA, and because I saw that the FBI and like I said, it's all political and things. And I'm like, so what does this have to do with anything? How is this actually moving the needle to help the average American citizen? Because they're parading around as if they're actually accomplishing something. You can accomplish something by, yeah, you clean up the stock market for one. If you all don't know about insider trading, I suggest you look it up. And once you look it up, you can see how easy it is to manipulate the stock market if you're in the know. And really, it's really alarming that we have so much invested into the stock market and how insider trading, how that stuff takes place, and how easy it can take place. You want to start um, investigating things. How about you start at the golf course? You always hear people say, "Hey, business deals, yeah, they take place. It's a lot of networking that go on at the golf courses." What do you think they're talking about? You think they're talking about other sports? You think they're just catching up on you know pen pals or old friends and good old times and all those things? That's where they go. That's where all that stuff takes place, right? That can affect your day to day life. So that's just something to think about. Uh, but yeah, watch the company you keep. Right now, you see the tabloids, and it's You see the faces of the NBA players, the NBA stars, right? Uh, Watch the company you keep, and some of the UFC fighters and some of their stories. Not so much, but they are involved in this scandal. So why am I saying watch the company you keep? Um, if you start reading into some of the accusations, I'm willing to bet that some of the people involved, they probably did not, they were not fully aware of everything that's going on. They were just there, doing whatever they do, whether that's gambling or whatever they're into. And that's why I'm saying watch the company you keep, because you can be around somebody who's into these different types of activities or illegal activities and you have no knowledge of it. But because you are in their company and you are associated with them, you will be dragged into this. I'm not saying that's the case of everybody involved, but I'm sure that there are a number of gentlemen that fits the description, that fits the narrative. So that's just something to think about. Also, the dangers of falling off. That's what I really wanted to talk about. The dangers of falling off. What do I mean by that? Well, the people that are involved in these scandals, you see them, especially in particular the NBA stars, because that's the one that we're probably more familiar with, are the NBA stars. That's why they're on the headline. So it's an attention grabber. And you're probably wondering to yourself, well, this person made X amount of money throughout their lifetime. Why in the world are they getting caught up in this type of scandal? Why would they do this? I mean, they're already rich, right? Yeah, I agree. And this is why I'm talking about the dangers of falling off. And this will apply to you, the common man or woman, the dangers of falling off. Um, we always talking about achieving the American dream, get educated, start your career, and you begin to earn money. And if you start doing very well, you earn a lot of money, or you become well off, as they say. The dangers of falling off. See, that's the part that people do not talk about. See, it's one thing to ascend to a certain level in your career or whatever achievements that you have gained throughout your lifetime. But now there's a different pressure. Not everybody feels this pressure, so I don't expect everyone to relate to it. I'm just talking about reality. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. But if you know, you know. And as you ascend to whatever your career level or height, you may say, there is a pressure to maintain that. You see, that's the stuff that people do not talk about. They look at those people as, hey, they already made it. All of their problems are solved. They have nothing to worry about because, hey, they have money, right? They have money. That's what the common man or woman thinks, but that's not true. The thing is, it's very difficult to maintain. Now you may say, how and why is it difficult to maintain? I'm not saying difficult as in, oh, you just have to exert so much energy and there's all sorts of temptation, even though there is. But for some people, that is something that can be a struggle. Um, as you ascend in your career, whether it's sports or whatever that is, you're going to have associates. That's why I say watch the company you keep. Don't think that the people around you, not everybody have your best intention. And whether they admit to you or not, they are monitoring your success. It's just the truth. And the more success that you achieve, now some people may be looking at that as an opportunity for them to come up because, hey, who doesn't want to come up? I know you have it, I want some. And so there's no classes on how to handle that, right? Um, there's no there should be, but there's not classes on how to maintain that. People say investing, but okay, investing that's so vague. That's just like telling somebody to eat food to get healthy. Okay, what type of foods do I eat? What type of diet? There's different types of food. So there's a lot of investing, and you have to be careful with investing because not all investments are secure. Just like I said, once you achieve and you accumulate X amount of whatever status or money, there's going to be people set up, and they may even be around you that's there to take what you have achieved, what you have accomplished, your finances. And that does not go away just by you making money. Um, do you have the heart to tell people no when they have needs or assistance? What do you consider it to be an emergency? See, those are the stresses that go along with those things that a lot of people do not consider when you're coming across somebody that's quote unquote successful. And so let's just say they do have a big heart. And even though they've made millions of dollars, uh, what if they don't know how to say no? What if who do they turn to when they are um, faced with some type of financial woes? You see how expensive college is. We're talking about like real time universities and things like that. Yeah. hmm Houses, very expensive. Everybody needs housing, food, clothing and shelter. You go to those family reunions. Hey, oh yeah, what's going on? Yeah, yeah. I'm not talking down on that. I'm just talking about real time, real life scenarios that these gentlemen probably were faced with. Um, and it could be embarrassing to you don't want to admit that you may have fell off. What if they did fall off? Who do they talk to? Right? For all this time, they've been the proud person, the person that people may brag on and hey, I know this person. They want to associate themselves with you and things like that. So who do they talk to when they fall off? Nobody. So there goes another stress. Even though they obtained all this money, nothing lasts forever. A couple of bad decisions and that money's gone. It can go fast. Couple of bad relationships, bad marriages, boom, that money's gone. They're not going to turn to you. They probably are not going to open up to everybody who they know that they fell off. So they're going to want to keep it a secret. Nobody wants to put all their business out there, right? And they're just going to do what they already know. And if you're somebody who made all this money in the NBA and all this, and you're being approached by certain people, and you can make X amount of money after you didn't fell off, I can see how that happens. You have to put on this face of, like you're indestructible. Hey, I got everything figured out. That's so and so. This is the star of said organization or whatnot. This is because remember they made it to the top, so they have to figure out ways to maintain that. hmm They don't want to say that they fell off. You're looking at it from the millions of dollars and all these other things, but to you, the common man or woman, you do the same thing. I see people doing it. Uh, want to portray an image that's not really reality. You want to be seen in a certain light. So what makes you think they don't want to be seen in a certain light? You're just not in a position uh to be involved in situations to where all of that money is moving, but as far as the same traits, the traits are there between the common man or woman. I see it all the time. Fraudulent behavior, right? You're not fooling nobody with your post and all these other things. If you're in the know, you're in the know. You're not fooling. You're not fooling nobody. And so when you want to maintain something that you don't have, you have to figure out a way to try to get back there. The that type of road to success. It typically, if you're going to go the legit route, it's going to take a lot of time. But hey, you didn't amass all of this money, right? You have this big old house and things that you still have to finance. Hey, you need this money right now. Boom, 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 boom. You don't have time to wait, right? You got a family. You got different types of dependents. People counting on you. Uh, you don't want people to know that you fell off. So hey, you're gonna start engaging in all of these different types of activities. So I know it seems like I'm being soft on these people, but to the common man or woman, a lot of you all do the same thing too. You all do the same thing too, because most people don't want to speak in a transparent way. And like I said, I understand it's embarrassing to 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 fall off. I'm not immune to that either. I went through it back in my time. You know, hell, it was at one point I didn't even have a job. This was way before me online and all this stuff. But nah, I didn't tell nobody. Shit, I ain't tell nobody. I didn't want nobody to know. So I get it. Thankfully, everything worked out. But yeah, even the people who make it, they go through their trials and tribulations. So don't think that it cannot happen to you. And if people were to be real, they will tell you their stories of how they made it, or maybe how they fell off, and then how they bounced back. Um, and I'll just end with this. Like I said, watch the company you keep. Because I know all these things. Um, this may sound rude. This may sound harsh, but I don't put nothing past no man or no woman. I'm just keeping it real. I've always been a guarded individual because I know the human psychology. I know how foul man is. Man, man as in men, we're some dirty, foul mofos. Lie, cheat, steal, kill. Yeah, they do it all. Men do it. Yeah, we do it all. Men do it all. So, yeah, I've always been guarded. Even if I know you, it is. Hey, don't be offended. It's just what it is, man. I'm not immune to it either. So it's really not too many people that I can vouch for. Just like those people you've seen on the NBA scandal and the UFC scandal. I'm sure they have people who they know. It's like, what? They were totally surprised. Right? You thought you knew them. Oh man, I just don't believe it. I saw certain interviews and people were saying that. I'm not even saying that. This is not me saying that anybody's guilty or innocent. I'm just explaining how it could happen. Uh, so yeah, to you, common man or woman, yeah, I don't put nothing past you. I can't vouch for nobody. I can vouch for myself. That's about it. It don't matter who you see me with. It do not matter who you know that I know. It don't matter who I'm associated with. Nothing like that. I can vouch for myself. That's about it. I got love for my peoples, but I'm not around my peoples like that all the time. You don't know what man or what woman is doing when they're not in your vicinity. So just because they may move a certain way, don't put that on me. I do what I do. And that's what you can put on me. If I'm guilty of that, then hey, it is what it is. I done it. But 9 times out of 10, I'll claim it. Right? Or 10 times out of 10. But yeah, for anybody else, nah, man, I don't know. There's very few I can vouch for. I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. So yeah, just be careful. Just be careful out there. It's real in the field. So yeah, you can get all that bread. You can do all these career achievements. Make it all the way to the NBA. Make millions of dollars and still get caught up. If it is true, why would, like I said, why would anybody get caught up in that if you made all that money? Well, once you start losing that money, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Go back working a 9 to 5? Nah, you ain't going to do that. That's embarrassing. You can't do that. See, that's the thing. There's no, we have a gateway to success, but it's like a one-way trip. You get up there, that's it, fam. There's no ladder to climb back down. Only way to get down, you gotta jump. You gotta jump or you get pushed off. And that's it. And you're way up there, right? And just think about that analogy. You jump and get pushed off, it's gonna be a hard landing. You're gonna get hurt, right? It's gonna be scary. It's not fun. You don't know how you're gonna get back up. You know you didn't climb so high up. And now your ass, then you got to jump back down. Because if and that's why I say it can happen to anybody. Because once you achieve it, now you have to obtain it. There are no classes on how to obtain it. There's no colleges on how to obtain it. A lot of times you have to learn these things on your own. You spend so much time in your profession, but there's other aspects of life, getting to the next level. Okay, how do you obtain that? How do you maintain that? What, are you just going to be frugal the whole time? The more you make, the more you're going to spend. Eventually, you're going to splurge. You're going to splurge. You start giving away money and handouts and helping people out. The more you do that, you're like, hey man, I didn't help everybody else. Well, what about me? So now you're gonna start splurging. It'll catch up to you every month. You got them bills due. Bills due every month. So that's that pressure. But you have nobody to turn to. Just saying. Just a thought. But that's it. That's my message. I went on long enough. But yeah, I can't vouch for no. I know it sounds messed up. I know I'm cold. Yeah, it's only a few. Only a few. But yeah, I ain't with all that. Soon as if a man or woman, once they out my presence, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Just like you don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't put nothing past no man or woman. It'll keep you out of a lot of trouble, right? You don't know what they're doing, so always watch out. Be careful. Be careful. That's all I can say. Till next time. Peace.